In a quiet suburban neighborhood, an unsettling presence slowly infiltrated the walls of Sarah's new house. From the moment she moved in, she felt a strange emptiness lingering in every corner. Late at night, faint footsteps echoed down the hallway, disturbing her fragile sleep. The walls seemed to breathe, distorting shadows that danced unnaturally under the dim, flickering light. Sarah whispered to herself, "Why do I feel like I'm being watched constantly?" Her neighbor, Mark, noticed her growing distress and approached cautiously, asking, "Are you okay, Sarah?" She hesitated before replying, "It's like something inside the house doesn't want me here." As days stretched on, she discovered strange symbols carved into the basement walls, unsettling her further. The symbols pulsed with an otherworldly energy, like a heartbeat beneath the surface. One evening, she heard a voice whisper from the darkness, calling her name softly. Terrified, she confronted Mark, claiming, "There's something in my house, I know it." Mark looked concerned but tried to reassure her, saying, "Maybe it's just your imagination." But Sarah knew better. Her mind was unraveling under the weight of the unseen threat. Sleep became impossible. Nightmares haunted her each time she closed her eyes. In her dreams, a shadowy figure stared at her with hollow, distant eyes, whispering secrets. The psychological horror deepened as Sarah's sense of self started to fracture gradually. She caught glimpses of the figure during the day, an ominous presence lurking behind her reflection. The house seemed to manipulate her perceptions, twisting her thoughts into paranoia. Desperate for answers, Sarah searched for the history of her house, uncovering dark secrets. Ancient rituals and tragic suicides marked the previous inhabitants' stories, haunting her now. The more she learned, the more the house seemed to exert a malevolent influence over her mind. One night, trembling, she found herself standing in the basement, dread filling her every breath. The air was thick with a suffocating silence, broken only by her ragged breathing. Suddenly, the shadow appeared again, more vivid and intense than ever before. Sarah screamed, "Who are you? What do you want from me?" The shadow's voice echoed inside her skull, alien and echoing with ancient malice. It whispered, "I am the manifestation of your fears, the man in your house." Her thoughts spun wildly, questioning whether this entity was real or a product of her mind. Each passing moment felt like a battle between her sanity and the oppressive darkness. The line between reality and hallucination blurred as her perception warped dangerously. In her vulnerable state, she desperately clung to her fading sense of self. Mark continued to support her, though his own face showed signs of growing unease. She confided in him, "I think the house is alive, and it's feeding on my fears." Together, they devised a plan to confront the malevolent presence lurking within the walls. Armed with candles and ancient symbols, they entered the basement to face it head-on. At that moment, the shadow surged forward with a terrifying roar, filling the room with darkness. Sarah clenched her fists and shouted, "Leave us alone! You're not real!" A burst of blinding light exploded from the symbols as her voice echoed bravely. The house trembled, and the oppressive weight began to lift, slowly releasing its grip. In the aftermath, Sarah whispered to herself, "The man in my house doesn't exist anymore." Mark held her tightly. They both knew the darkness had been challenged but not vanquished. As dawn broke, a strange calm settled over the house, yet shadows of doubt remained. The psychological battle had taken its toll, leaving scars no one could see on the surface. Sarah looked around her home cautiously, questioning what horrors might still lurk unseen. With a shudder, she concluded, "Some things are better left in the shadows, hidden from light."